Hello everybody, this is John, your host on Mgtow is Freedom. Mgtow, men going their own way. Welcome back. I've really enjoyed doing these videos. I think I can continue to do videos for a good long time on this subject. Men going their own way. It's this particular movement is about us personally, men, individuals, and then our culture, right? What has happened to our culture that's destroyed us as individuals. And it's been crazy. Who couldn't talk about this all the time? If you've got an inkling, if you've got a philosophical bone in your body, you can see how wrong the world outside is. So I want to read some information. Martin, I read his video story earlier. He's responded back. And a couple of times. He's a very interesting character. He's got a great story to learn from, and he's got great words of encouragement, and he's a bit sardonic, which I greatly appreciate. So let's start with his letter. Hi John, thank you for reading my story on your YouTube channel. I've been traveling about China with no access to internet and couldn't watch the video until recently. Which means I think I did his video a month ago or so. Anyways, a couple facts to consider for future Mgtow guys. The price I paid for my ex being unhappy is extraordinary, but I am not the only one. Now he spells unhappy with 4 A's and 3 P's. Now his story was his ex-wife, or whatever the hell she is, and his in-laws tried to destroy him. They took his job from him and were about to have him sent to jail or prison on bullshit. So he fled the country, literally fled the country, went to China and started his life over. This is an American. All right. So that was the recap, if you recall the story from back then. Okay. But he says that I'm not the only one. He says there are legions of men out here with U.S. passports they cannot renew because of back child support. It's an interesting concept, right? Because of the computerized system, you go to renew your passport. If you're living abroad, you've got a problem. Back child support stops them from doing that. You become a man without a country. These men he's talking about live illegally in places like Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, Philippines, all over the world. He's in China. Martin's in China. They usually head to backwater rural areas and teach English for peanuts. If they go home, they're looking at prison, It's unusual that I left and was able to get new citizenship without getting married again. And I did it through tremendous hard work via economic investment in a new country, which is to say that I did it legally through direct payments to the Dominican government over the course of 6 years. I am the slave who bought his freedom. I now have a second passport to use to allow me to work, and I never need come back to the U.S. ever again. I left when my children were 5, 4, and 2 years old. I had the following choice. Don't see them from prison, or don't see them from where I am now. That was it. Those were the options. In time, my children will be online and we will find each other. My ex has told them I am dead, but I don't know details or anything about their whereabouts. All right, I'm done talking your ear off. So I responded to him, can I do a further update on your story? Change names, whatever. Change ages. And he said that, John, no objection at all. Now I'm reading off the internet here. Got his email yesterday. You don't have to change the children's ages. The amount of trouble it would take for the family court to get me is ludicrous and impossible. Pulling a Dominican citizen out of China for a civil judgment. He's got a great point there. He's no longer an American. He had to buy, as he talked about, his Dominican Republic citizenship. Okay, the U.S. isn't the world and they're not omnipotent. How's that hunt for Snowden going, right? There's the sardonic nature. It's good stuff. Moreover, he says, I'm a small fish. So you've got lots of emails, so I'll be brief. Here's some bullet points to finish out his story. 2008, with a contempt hearing and jail looming, I got on a plane. I had no friends, no plan. $25,000, a U.S. passport I couldn't renew until 2017. Fast forward 8 years. I got a second master's degree teaching higher level math. $100,000 in savings. That's where he's at now. And new citizenship, which cost $250,000 in all. Yes, I am proud of the above. I worked damn hard for all of it, the whole while living in squalor and having to learn Chinese. I lost all contact with my children, but there was no path I could take that this didn't happen. Right? He says, I'm sick of the bullshit even more than the family courts. You should have fought to see your kids. So apparently Martin is, he deals with a bunch of shit. Right? People that he probably communicates with via the internet telling him how wrong he was. Right? And, he says, I'm tired of that. Are you going to fight, right, to violently overthrow the entire U.S. government all by himself just to see his kids? He can't do it. Right? He's right. He would end up in jail, right, with a bracelet around his ankle if it was a house arrest type scenario where they worked him. Right? You go out to work like Charlie Sheen and you come back to your house every day and pay your penalty, your penance. Okay, so anyways, he says, I would encourage all men to get a second passport regardless. You never know when some woman somewhere will say he hit me or he touched me or whatever. That happened to the fella a few days ago. He was in Utah somewhere, Mgtow guy, trying to save money, living alternatively, and realizing that his girlfriend was cheating on him. So he threw her ass out. And she threatened him with, I'm going to hit myself and call the cops. What did he do? He pulled out his camera and started filming her. Right? That's exactly what Martin's talking about here. The U.S. legal system is not to be trusted. Get that exit plan mapped out. If, like me, your family were Americans for 15 generations, this is damn hard as you have no family ties anywhere else. In that instance, getting that second passport will take you years, but it can still be done and it's worth it. I wish I had started earlier. Okay, thank you for the inspirational videos. Signed, Martin. Okay, so here's what we're looking at here with this guy's story is, getting off as Mgtow, getting off the plantation in a way to look at it. The United States and all of the civilized West. So I'm going to include Australia, I'm going to include England, Canada, Scandinavia, Europe, Northern Europe, all of Europe for that matter. The plantation is where slaves are kept. And that's kind of an old American story for everyone who's foreign. Down in the South where they kept black slaves to do manual labor, right? They were given a hovel to live in, some rags for their back. They were worked hard from sun up till sundown. The slave masters kept them in optimum health, but only to work them harder. And they would give them just enough food to live and just enough sustenance to live. But they were worked very, very hard, right? And they had to play by the master's rules, right? That's where we're at today. It's a technologically supported plantation, right? We're told we're free, but you're not. You have to behave. You have to do as you're told. You have to pay your taxes. In other words, you have to work yourself as hard as you can, and you get little bits of money and satisfaction and comfort, and you're allowed those little bits, but you have to pay and keep working or you're done, right? You're under a bridge. That's, you can see that South plantation a long time ago, 150 years ago, and more now. The plantation back then was where you were kept. Today we're on a new plantation with electronic leashes and electronic whips. But there still is a legal system. There still is a jail system.